Hello, my name is John Vishko, and this is my implementation of exploration for Pset8. The first thing I want to go to the config to show what I've changed in this file. One of the first things I changed was the C time steps, which instead of the 1000, it's the 4000, so that I can see a very large range of data and it goes for a longer period of time. I also I also added a variable called cquarant, which is the ratio of how many people go to quarantine per 100 people. So this says 10 people per 100 go to quarantine. That's like the odds it has. And I also added a color for quarantine. And this code here is for a shade of green. So it's like much more visible. And I would like to go to people so we can see the actual class for the quarantine people and the methods it has. So going down, the first way to like make a quarantine class is in the infected class here, where in update I have it so that if the counter of the rec counter is less than 5 time steps of the result of the formula up here, and the counter is greater than 0, and the coin flip, the possibilities of the 10% are met, then the infected get debunked, then the class gets deregistered, and then a new registration of the quarantine gets in passed with the position of X, the position of Y, and the int variable of the rec counter count. And this here is so that we can when the quarantine is over that they can return to the original position. And going all the way down to the quarantine class here, we have a variable a value mutable recovery count, which is the counter that was passed in. We also have a new counter class that it sets so that we can have a method that sets the counter to the recovery count that was passed in. So this is just to see how much time is left for the person to how much time is left for the person's quarantine. Then here we have we set the counter when it initializes. We have the position at the middle of the map of the field. We have the step size 0 so that they don't move at all, and the infection of 0 so that they don't infect anyone here. And here the update, we have that the counter goes down so that time can move on. And if it reaches 0, then we deregister the quarantine to become recovered and go back to the positions that were mentioned as before, that was up here. And to draw them, we just draw a little circle with the color quarantine. And I'll just show the simulation now. So this is what the simulation looks like. Right here in the middle, you can see that that's the green dot there. This is the quarantine. Now this is dot, but like there's like multiple people here. As you can see here, there's I feel like 100, 200 people in this green dot here, this little area. Now, I guess the way to make the code better, I could have like made it so it's like a radius around here so that there you can see in the middle. Like you can see like multiple dots, but right now it's just since I put 100, 100, this is like the center of the graph. So it's just like everyone is just in this little dot area. Here you can see like the rings of the infected, the grades or the recovered, and there are some deaths, such as there's 8 people dead, so there's like a cross here. And yeah, pretty much that. The reason why there's some little deaths here is because the quarantine value, the chances of going to quarantine or the rate of people going to quarantine is much higher and than the actual of them dying. And if they do go to quarantine, they don't die at all. And they rather become recovered. While if they don't go to quarantine, they have a very much higher likelihood of dying. So I guess in order to like visualize this more in a better to make this a more accurate representation, I could also make another like case here in like the infected class that if they do quarantine, or maybe even in the quarantine class, like right here, I could put like the odds of them dying here. But since I didn't put that, if they go in quarantine, they're guaranteed to live. So that's how it's looking at the moment. And yeah, thank you for your time.